A wave of thick, humid air hits me the second the automatic doors slide open. It's like walking into a warm, wet blanket. This was my first mistake. I expected tropical breezes, like in the movies. This was something else entirely. My phone said it was 32 degrees Celsius. My body, drenched in sweat from the 50-foot walk from the air conditioning to the taxi line, told me it was a lie. This is the first truth of the Philippines. The weather isn't just hot. It's a presence. It's a character in every story. The line for taxis was a chaotic symphony of people, carts, and shouted conversations I couldn't understand. I clutched my map, my carefully printed itinerary for a peaceful island-hopping adventure, feeling suddenly very silly and very, very fragile. This was nothing like I expected. My name is Alex, and I thought I was prepared. I had watched the travel videos, seen the perfect white sand beaches and the crystal blue water. I thought I was coming to paradise. I was wrong. Well, not entirely wrong. But the truth is so much more complicated, so much more beautiful, and so much more terrifying than anything I could have imagined. This is the story of why life in the Philippines is nothing like I expected. And this is just the airport. The taxi ride was my first real lesson. I showed the driver the address of my hotel in Makati, the financial district, the place the guidebooks called orderly. He nodded, said a price that seemed too low, and we were off. And then the honking began. It's not the angry, aggressive honking of New York or London. It's a language. A short, light tap means, "I'm here beside you, just so you know." A longer beep means, "The light is green, my friend, we can go now." A series of rapid bursts means, "I am a jeepney, and I am merging whether you like it or not, so please make space." There are no lanes, not really. The lines on the road are merely suggestions, gentle poetry that everyone has agreed to ignore. We shared the road with cars, massive SUVs, motorcycles with entire families of 4 balanced precariously on them, and the kings of the Philippine road, the jeepneys. These are creatures of pure imagination. Leftover U.S. military jeeps from World War II, stretched and painted in every color of the rainbow, adorned with chrome horses, religious icons, and names like God is Good or Wild Dream. They follow no set route, at least not one a newcomer can decipher. People hop on and off wherever they please, a fluid, chaotic ballet of public transportation. I expected traffic. I did not expect to be sitting in a metal box on what felt like a standstill highway, only to look over and see a man on a motorcycle casually holding a full-sized refrigerator on the back of his bike. Life goes on, no matter what. The traffic isn't an interruption to life here. It is life. People sell barbecued chicken feet on sticks between the cars. They do their makeup. They have full-blown naps. I arrived at my hotel 2 hours later, a journey that should have taken 20 minutes. I was exhausted, my clothes were stuck to me, and my ears were ringing. But I was also weirdly exhilarated. This wasn't the sterile, predictable travel I was used to. This was alive. The next surprise was the smiles. Everywhere there are smiles. The security guard at the hotel didn't just nod. He beamed at me, a genuine, crinkly-eyed smile that said, "Welcome, I am truly happy you are here." The woman at the front desk called me Chur with a tone of such respect it made me stand up straighter. This is the famous Filipino hospitality I had read about, but reading about it and experiencing it are two different things. It's not a trained customer service smile. It's deep, it's cultural, it's real. They call it pakikisama, a spirit of camaraderie and getting along. It's in the way everyone, and I mean everyone, addresses you with po and opo to show respect. It's in the way a simple "thank you from me" was met with a delighted "thank you more." It's disarming. In my home country, we keep to ourselves. We avoid eye contact on the subway. Here, I made eye contact with a grandmother on the street, and she gave me a huge, gap-toothed grin and a thumbs up. I found myself smiling back for no reason at all. The joy here is contagious. But it exists alongside something else. Something much harder. Behind the smiling security guard, just down the clean, modern street of Makati, I saw my first glimpse of the other side. The inequality is stark, immediate, and impossible to ignore. Gleaming skyscrapers tower over makeshift homes built from scrap wood and corrugated iron. Children with bright, smiling faces play in alleyways beside piles of garbage. A woman in a beautiful, elegant dress steps out of a luxury car and walks past a child sleeping on cardboard. This contrast is the heartbeat of the Philippines. It's a country of breathtaking beauty and heartbreaking poverty, often on the same street corner. The smiles aren't a mask hiding the struggle. They are a response to it. It's a choice to find joy, to be resilient, to welcome a stranger with open arms even when life is unimaginably hard. This complexity was my second great lesson. The Philippines is not a simple postcard. It's a novel, full of drama, joy, and deep, profound challenges. I thought the food would be simple. Rice, some grilled fish, maybe a few tropical fruits. My third great miscalculation. Filipino food is a wild, bold, chaotic fusion of centuries of influence. It's Malay, Chinese, Spanish, and American all thrown into a pot and boiled, fried, or roasted over an open fire. My first meal was at a small, noisy canteen called a carinderia. The food was laid out in metal pots, and I had no idea what any of it was. I pointed at something that looked like meat in a brown sauce. Adobo, the lady said. It was chicken and pork stewed in vinegar, soy sauce, and a heap of garlic. It was tangy, savory, and absolutely delicious. I was brave. I pointed at something dark and ominous looking. Dinuguan, she said, with an encouraging nod. Later I learned it was a rich, dark stew made with pork offal and, wait for it, pig's blood. I ate it. It was actually incredible, rich, and spicy. But the king of all surprises, the dish that truly represents the Filipino adventurous spirit, is balut. I saw a vendor one evening with a basket, calling out, "Balut!" People were buying these eggs, cracking them open, and eating them. I bought one. It was a boiled duck egg. But not just any egg. It's a fertilized egg with a nearly developed duck embryo inside. You crack the top, sip the broth, and then eat the contents. Yes, the chick is in there. Beak, feathers, and all. I did it. I won't describe the texture, but the feeling afterwards was one of pure triumph. This wasn't just food. It was a rite of passage. And then there is the sweetness. Filipinos have the biggest sweet tooth of any nation I've ever encountered. They put sugar in their bread. They put sugar in their spaghetti sauce. They have a dessert called halo halo, which means mix mix. It's a towering masterpiece of shaved ice, evaporated milk, sweet beans, coconut, jelly, flan, and a scoop of purple yam ice cream on top. It shouldn't work. It absolutely does. Every meal here is an adventure, a surprise, a story to tell. I finally made it out of Manila. I took a bus, then a boat, and arrived on a smaller island. This is what I came for, right? The famous beaches of Palawan. And for the first time, something met my expectations. No, It exceeded them. The water isn't blue in pictures. It's 1,000 shades of blue in real life. Turquoise, sapphire, aquamarine. Words fail. The sand on El Nido's beaches isn't just white. It's like walking on powdered sugar. I went island hopping on a small outrigger boat called a banca. We swam in hidden lagoons surrounded by jagged limestone cliffs, where the only sound was the water lapping against the rock and the call of distant birds. We snorkeled above coral gardens teeming with life, a dizzying carnival of neon fish. It was paradise. It was exactly what I had paid for. But even here, the real Philippines crept in. Our boat captain, a man named Juan, with a kind face and calloused hands, made us a lunch on a deserted beach. He grilled fresh fish he had bought that morning from a local fisherman. He cooked rice in a pot over an open fire. He sliced up mangoes so sweet and juicy, they made my eyes water. This wasn't a catered tourist boat lunch. This was a meal he would eat with his own family. He shared it with us. He didn't speak much English, but he smiled and pointed out things. He showed us a sea turtle, his face lighting up with as much wonder as ours. This was the magic. The postcard beauty was incredible, but the human connection within that beauty was what made it unforgettable. I expected beautiful nature. I didn't expect to feel such a profound sense of peace and generosity within it. Back in a smaller town, I experienced the Filipino sense of community, or bayanihan. It's a spirit of communal unity. One afternoon, a sudden, tremendous tropical rainstorm began. This wasn't a gentle shower. This was a biblical downpour, a solid wall of water that flooded the streets in minutes. I was stranded under an awning with a group of locals. They laughed, not complained. "It's just the rain," one man said to me, shrugging. A tricycle driver, a three-wheeled motorcycle taxi that is the lifeblood of provincial towns, drove through the knee-deep water as if it were nothing, his passengers squealing with laughter. When the rain slowed, I saw neighbors helping each other sweep water out of their shops. There was no anger, no frustration. It was just life. Another day, I stumbled upon a local festival. There was no schedule, no tourist information booth. It was just the entire town in the street, dancing, singing, and celebrating their patron saint. I was pulled into the crowd, handed a drink, and taught a simple dance step. I was a stranger, and yet I was instantly included. There are no outsiders here, only friends you haven't met yet. This sense of belonging, of finding joy in the middle of a flood, of celebrating together. This was the soul of the Philippines I never knew to look for. I expected to see sights. I didn't expect to feel like I was part of a family. And then there are the roosters. I expected to hear them in the countryside. I did not expect to hear them in the middle of the city, in the backyard of every other home. The rooster is a national symbol, but not just as an animal. Cockfighting is a deep, deep part of the culture here. It's not just a sport. It's a passion, a tradition, and for many, a source of income. I heard the crowing at all hours, a constant, rustic alarm clock that no one else seemed to notice. I saw men lovingly caring for their birds, feeding them special diets, training them. It was a world within a world, a tradition that felt ancient and slightly intense to my foreign eyes. It was another layer, another unexpected piece of the complex puzzle. As my trip neared its end, I found myself in a jeepney, crammed between a student, a woman carrying a basket of live chickens, and an old man. The radio was playing and a song came on. It was a classic Filipino love song, a slow, sentimental ballad. And something amazing happened. The student started humming. The woman with the chickens tapped her foot. The old man began to sing softly, his voice raspy but sure. And then, one by one, almost everyone in the jeepney joined in. A spontaneous choir in a battered, brightly painted metal box, bouncing down a potholed road. They all knew the words. They were all connected by this shared culture, this shared song. I didn't know the words, but I felt the warmth of it. I felt the community. In that moment, all the contradictions made sense. The chaos and the kindness, the poverty and the generosity, the stunning beauty and the gritty reality. They aren't opposites here. They are woven together into the vibrant, resilient, unforgettable fabric of Filipino life. I came for the beaches. I expected a vacation. I left with so much more. I left with a new understanding of resilience. I left with the taste of adobo and the sound of karaoke forever in my memory. I left with the memory of 1,000 smiles from people who have every reason to frown. The Philippines doesn't give you what you expect. It gives you what you need. It shakes you up. It welcomes you in, and it shows you that joy isn't about everything being perfect. Joy is about finding the music, even in the traffic. Joy is about sharing your meal, even when you don't have much to share. Joy is about smiling at a stranger, just because. My life in the Philippines, even for just a few weeks, was nothing like I expected. It was harder. It was louder. It was more confusing. But it was also more beautiful, more genuine, and more human than I ever could have dreamed. And that is a surprise I will be forever grateful for.